Are you about to retire? Are you planning on retiring early? Are you wondering how far your retirement budget will go as far as activities and travel? Then this video is for you.
Welcome to Track Us Down. If you're just finding us, I'm Monique.
And I'm Doug. Our channel is all about downshifting to an early retirement, living a healthy lifestyle, and enjoying all the freedom that comes with it.
And one of those freedoms that comes with early retirement is participating in activities and travel. So this month we're going to do a deeper dive into activities and travel and share with you what we did for activities and travel in the month of March and the costs.
If you've been following our channel, you'll know that each month since November of 2021, we do a cost of living budget video about what it costs us to live in early retirement here in Portugal, and specifically on the island of Madeira. We have several categories, from dining out to other to transportation to activities, and we give you the total of what those are within each video. However, there's much more to it than just the totals, and we thought that we would start a new series called Deeper Dive, where we pick one of those categories each month and we just do a deeper dive into each of them and give a bit more detail about what they cost and what was involved with those categories.
So we are going to start off with activities. So this category is activities and travel, but we're going to separate them. So for activities in the month of March, we spent €176. We're going to break that down for you into all the activities that we did and what the specific costs for those activities were. Our first activity that we did this month was we went to a museum in downtown Funchal. The museum is called the Sacred Art Museum. It is housed in the former Bishop's Palace of Funchal, and it has paintings and sculptures made out of gold and silver and vestments from the end of the 15th century right up to the 19th century. It also contains highlights of Flemish art that was brought here to Madeira during the island's sugar production days.
And it was kind of neat. It's in Old Town Funchal, so the buildings around are old. The building itself, the former Bishop's Palace, is really old. I think it goes back to the 15th
century.
15th century. And you have a beautiful view from the tower out over Funchal, and just all the art and pieces inside go back hundreds of years. And it's just neat. Gives you a glimpse into the life back then. Our next activity was the Madeira Photography Museum. Now this is a old photography studio. It's the oldest photography studio in Portugal, and it's a multi-generational family photography studio. Atelier Vicente was the original back in the mid-1800s. It's just neat. It's a neat old building in Old Town Funchal, and inside there are just many galleries and rooms that you can go into detailing the history of old cameras. They have so many on display going back through the generations, through the decades, and tons on just how photography developed over the years from the earliest silver plates and styles onwards. It's just very interesting for anybody who's into photography. I'm not a huge photography buff, but I do find things like that history because it covers so much of time going back in history. So if you're interested in that, it was €3 each to get in, and it took a good 2-3 hours, I guess, to go through. It's pretty interesting.
They also have a lot of old photos that were actually taken right there in the studio, which is kind of neat to see, and where they pull all the different backgrounds of the photos that they had. They also feature one artist in the main area, and I think that changes all the time. So the one we saw was underwater, which was really neat, and they had a little old-fashioned movie studio that you could watch a little film there as well. So for a total of €6, we enjoyed our time at Atelier Vicente. Our next activity was something we enjoyed doing, which is going to the movies. So we went to Nos Cinema here in Funchal. It is €7 per person. Movies are shown in the original language, so in this case English. We went to see The Batman for €14.
Right, and that was a long movie. We don't typically stay up too late, but that movie is about 3 hours of my life I'll never get back. It was a 3-hour movie, so if you're into Batman and everything filmed in the dark, you'll enjoy it. It was long, but it was typical Batman. And of course, we did a wine tour. Here in Funchal, one of the oldest family generational Madeira wine companies is Blandy's. Blandy's goes back to the early 1800s. John Blandy was an Englishman that came over from England, and he got into the wine business. Madeiran wine, originally when the sailors mixed sugarcane rum with wine, and it traveled in the ship's hold for weeks at a time, and it came out with this different tasting wine. They figured out that what made that taste and that color was the heat of the wine primarily. So during the wine tour, you learn how, for example, this wine is different than regular wine. It's stored and aged at elevation at a higher height for heat, and it's the heat that transforms the wine and gives it its color and its flavor. It's different than regular wine, which is stored in a cellar. Here in Funchal, they have the old factory, the old store, where they keep the great big American oak barrels of the Madeiran wine. So you get a great tour in this old building and learn the history of this family and of Madeiran wine in general.
So the tour itself per person cost 11 euros. So for a total of 22 euro, we participated in the 1 hour tour, and the tour ends actually with wine tasting, and you get to sample 2 different sorts of Madeira wine. And of course we purchased a bottle and brought it home.
And up next is the old sailing vessel, the Santa Maria de Colombo. It is an exact replica of the ship that Christopher Columbus sailed on. Christopher Columbus did spend quite a bit of time here in Madeira, as well as the neighboring island of Porto Santo. And being an island, we're surrounded by water, and for the first time we were able to get out onto the water on a ship and sail around, and it was amazing. I love old things like this, old pirate ships. It's not a pirate ship, but it's just like an old pirate ship. You feel like you're in Pirates of the Caribbean. We had a nice windy day, and they let the sail down, and we shut the motors off, and we were under sail, and just hearing the sail flapping in the wind and just rocking on the water and seeing Madeira from out in the open ocean was amazing.
So on the trip, we were lucky enough to see pilot whales, which was really, really neat out there on the water. And along with the ticket for the ship, you receive a small glass of Madeiran wine and a piece of honey cake. So we enjoyed our time on the Santa Maria de Colombo. We had a 3-hour sailing trip. The cost for the trip was 35 euro per person, so 70 euro for both of us.
And normally in warm weather and calmer seas, they go to a spot where you can jump in and do some snorkeling. We didn't have that weather or those seas this time, so we're just gonna have to do it again. And last, in the month of March, was a big one. We actually got to travel a little bit. Not far, but it was still a 2.5-hour boat ride from Madeira to the neighboring island of Porto Santo, which is also part of Portugal. The difference is it's about 9 million years older than Madeira. So around the whole island, and there's a couple different islands that make up Porto Santo, there is miles and miles of beautiful yellow sand. You can walk endlessly along beautiful sandy beaches and go in the water. Here in Madeira, we don't have those kind of sandy beaches, but a short boat ride away, you can have that. So we took the Porto Santo line. It's a ferry. You can take your car, or you can take your scooter, or you can just walk on like we did. And after 2.5 hours, you arrive in Porto Santo and then just enjoy the island for as long as you want.
So for the ferry ride price changes every month. So we paid the price for the month of March. For both of us, it came to 98 euro and 28 cents. However, they do have a mobility allowance for residents, and it is something that we apply for after the trip is completed, and we will receive 25 euros back per person. So that cuts down on the cost of the ferry for residents of Madeira and Porto Santo. So the price return for the ferry for the two of us was 48 euro and 28 cents. We also stayed 2 nights on the island of Porto Santo. We stayed at Vila Baleira, which is an all-inclusive hotel. It has a pool, it has a buffet breakfast, lunch, and dinner, as well as a bar that offers wine, beer, and some different cocktails, and an outside restaurant that has snacks pretty much all day, and coffee and drinks as well. For the 2-night stay at Vila Baleira, we paid 251 euro and 46 cents. That is for a standard room, but all inclusive. So all our meals were paid for in that price.
Right, and actually it has an indoor pool. It has an outdoor pool. It has a spa with, I think, 2 or 3 separate pools, a wave pool and a spa pool. There is a lot to do just within the pools, but just over the berm is the beach. And we walked every day on the beach. We swam in the ocean. It was beautiful. And again, it was a little bit cooler than normal for this type of year. I can't imagine how beautiful and warm it would be
gorgeous
in the summer months. And the food, I can't say enough about how great their buffet was. There was everything from seafood and meats, huge salad bars. They had a different theme every night, from spicy night, sea night,
tropical night,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So much to choose from. And then as well, between a bar and a snack bar, there was everything you could want during the day. And people were staying there. There was golf tours, so people were golfing every day at the nearby golf course. There was tennis tours, and people were playing multiple games of tennis every day, and they all come back to the resort and sit in their big tables. They looked like they were having a lot of fun. We definitely will be going back. And the ride back, the ferry didn't leave until 6 p.m. So by the time we got back to Madeira, we came back in the dark, and just seeing the island come into focus with all the lights in the hills and then the harbor lighting up, it was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful sailing back, and what a great perk to have, just to be able, if you want to go to the sandy beach, you just leave for 2.5 hours, you're on an endless sandy beach. Spend some time and then come back to Madeira.
And seeing Funchal in the twilight like that is absolutely gorgeous. The lights twinkling, it makes you fall in love with Madeira and Funchal all over again. So the total cost for this month for our activities was 176 euro, and the total cost for travel this month, the month of March, was 349 euro and 74 euro cents. So altogether for activities and travel for the month of March, we spent 525 euro and 74 euro cents.
So I hope you've enjoyed our deeper dive into the category of activities and travel for this month. I think we'll make it a regular thing. We'll pick a different category, whether it's transportation or groceries, and we'll do a deeper dive every month. If you enjoy these videos and you're interested in what we're talking about here, please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. We really enjoy hearing from you and reading your comments and responding to you. And please subscribe to our channel. It really helps our little channel grow and reach other viewers who are interested in this sort of thing.
So please check back in and
track us down.